Hi friends, welcome back to the Poppy Library YouTube channel. I'm Liz, I'm your host and knitter behind this YouTube channel, and I'm so excited to finally be back. I recently took a trip to the Central Coast of California, and it is exactly what I needed to get my knitting motivation back. Colder temperatures, being immersed in nature, enjoying nature is really just brought me back the motivation that I needed to continue to knit. I am still working on my Talvinen sweater by Caitlin Hunter, but I decided to take a little bit of a break and cast on something new while I was in a new environment. I picked Knit Graffiti's Dandelion Field Shawl. I am using spin cycle yarns dyed in the wool on one side and a solid 2-ply sport weight white yarn on one side, just to make it simple for myself since I am new to Brioche. A few learning lessons that have made this knit very easy for me as a beginner is reminding myself that for Brioche you do have a stitch that is a yarn over on one side, yarning over one stitch. So it looks like 2 stitches really, but it's not. It is 1 stitch. So when you're counting your stitches, you count that yarn over and that stitch as 1 stitch. So you will see in my close-ups what I mean there. And it makes it really easy to remember. Once you make that rule for yourself, that stitch and the yarn over together is 1 stitch. Make that rule for yourself. It makes your life so much easier. The next tip that I have is that whatever color is dominant that is facing you, that you are knitting on, you typically will brioche knit those yarn over stitches with that color. So right here I'm on the white side, so all those yarn over stitches I am knitting those with the white, and I am brioche purling those with the contrast color. Another tip that I have for this piece, it's a shawl, so there are lots of stitches because it's kind of like top down, so you get stitch increases as you go along, and so all of a sudden you have 200 stitches and you're going back and forth with 2 colors on one side and 2 colors on the other. I would try to do a marled yarn that changes colors like spin cycle yarns. There are many other options available at different price ranges, but it just keeps things more interesting while you're knitting back and forth 200 stitches. You're seeing colors change and it becomes very, very motivating and very satisfying, almost like instant gratification, because you are watching this piece just change color and come to life. And the last tip that I have is, if you are new to repeat patterns, there are maybe 12 stitches in a repeat pattern. Use stitch markers to mark the end and beginning of those patterns if you are new to that. That way you know the stitch pattern will end here and begin here, and it will allow you to just kind of zone out and make sure that you are doing the right increases, get the right stitch count, and therefore it makes your knitting a lot more mindless as you have those little reminders along the way. When you are dealing with those yarn over stitches, the stitches that look like 2 stitches in one, make sure that your needle goes all the way through when you are brioche knitting or brioche purling. I have made the mistake where I've just gone through one of those stitches, either the yarn over or the knit stitch below, and I have actually lost a few stitches. I couldn't fix it. It left a kind of a hole, so make sure that your needle goes all the way through the back or the front of that stitch, whether you are brioche purling or brioche knitting. So now that I am home, I kind of revamped my stash area, which I would highly recommend for all of you to do. Just clean out your space. It allows a lot more positive energy into the area, and it has definitely given me the motivation that I need to continue to knit through this very hot summer, even while our AC was broken, which is another story for another day. I picked up these new Brooklyn Tweed Peary yarns, and it added it to my stash when I came home. I got it from Monarch Knitting in Monterey, California. I would highly recommend going there if you are there, and also just, picking up some yarns that I have in my stash. And this is Woolfolk right here, and figuring out what I'm going to knit for the fall, which is another video for another day. And just a few life updates. I haven't been around because what I've been doing is really focusing on myself. I quit my job in May and I wanted to start my own business. It's what makes me happy, is to really be in charge of my future, and I decided to start a stained glass business. And so my new business is called Filter and Beam. I do have a YouTube channel and I linked it in the description box below. I do commissions, I do my own pieces where I sell, and I do repairs in the local Austin area, and it's been really rewarding so far to create pieces of art and make them come to life. So if you feel so inclined, follow me at filterandbeam_stained glass on Instagram, or on my YouTube channel, which is Filter and Beam Stained Glass, to see all of those journeys there. I will have crossover knit projects that will be coming soon, and I will definitely share here on this channel as well, so you can pick up some knit themed stained glass very soon. So that's all I've really been doing, is just focusing on my business. I hope that you guys are all doing well. I'm so happy to be back and motivated for this next knitting season, and I look forward to more stories coming up very soon. Until then, see you guys later.